So there's a video on Instagram right now saying bitter baby mama, after losing in a custody battle, sends SWAT over to him and his new wife's home in reference to the children. Let me tell you something. Never love anything so hard you lose yourself. Look, I really urge you to study child development, study early childhood development, study human development, study family and consumer sciences and family law. If you become a scholar of these things and you become a scholar of Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, stuff like that, you will understand never love anything so hard you lose yourself, number one. You will understand, number two, I'm not getting into a custody battle over a woman and the children that came out of her. You may not understand this, but just because the children are legally yours and biologically yours because you planted that seed of life, you may not understand her reasons for why she wanted to have children. No shame, no judgment. We are not shaming her. We are not judging her. But you may not understand, especially if you're in black culture, you may not understand that sometimes people have, not even sometimes, probably more than less, right? More often than not, these women have children for self-adequacy, for self-worth. And it's not their fault. The childhood and teenage traumatic experiences they've been in, coupled with the fact that society, culture, and your family may weaponize isolation. You see what I'm saying? And psychologically, we all have a need to feel loved, be loved, and feel belong and have secure attachment. This is all psychological. You see what I'm saying? You look at Erik Erikson's psychosocial theory of development, when you're looking at the stages of trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, identity versus role confusion, and then intimacy versus isolation, right? But that's between ages 19 through 29, which is your early adulthood. The first attempt at isolation occurs at early childhood between 1 and 3 years of age. And if that parent or if that child is not in a secure home with a secure parent who cultivates that isolation and helps that child understand that isolation is important for growth and to develop habits and things that you like to do alone, right? You think about it, when culture cultivates through various methods that isolation is a bad thing. Think about Mary J. Blige's song, "Can't live without you, can't live without you, babe. Oh," you see what I'm saying? Oh, never want to live without you, babe. All these other different songs, and that's just one example. Christian songs, "Alone in a room, it's just me and you. I feel so lost, I don't know what to do. Now what if I choose the wrong thing to do? I feel so afraid of disappointing you." You see what I'm saying? All these songs that cultivate the consciousness that makes isolation seem to be a bad thing, that cultivates in the mind of a person seeking for attachment when they don't have healthy attachments with themselves. What do? When men, women, family, and friends can walk away, I can create children. They are mine and they are here to stay. They love me because they need me, and I am attaching to them because I need them. That is an unhealthy way and a reason to have children, but that is done. And so as a man who doesn't understand this, that's why you can end up in a situation where the so-called bitter baby mama sends the police after losing custody, because you don't understand. This isn't a fair fight psychologically. It's an unfair attachment, and it's unfair to you as the father, but you don't understand that you're not wrestling with principalities and powers of, this. You're not wrestling with the things of this earth, so to speak, but you're wrestling with that psychological thing from the trauma that she didn't ask for, but where she is psychologically. And that's why I say, never love anything so hard you lose yourself. I honor my father. I love my father. My father was never in my life, but I honor and I love him because he had the courage and probably had some family, hey, you should walk away from this, where he walked away from my mom. My mother never spoke a negative thing about him, never spoke a negative thing to me about him, right? And that assisted me in still being an open source learner, right? And perhaps all she wanted was the kids. And because my father wasn't constantly trying to push his way into that door, I never had to hear the so-called negative things or anything, so to speak, about him, because she got what she wanted, which was us. You see what I'm saying? Now, did she do a great job? No, she did not do a great job. She did what she knew. And I don't shame her, I don't judge her, but she did what she knew, okay? So this is Instructor Mike, and you've been trained. Hey, sign up in the comments. No shame, no judgment. But men, you have to understand that you may not be aware of the psychological issues that the lady that you had children with may be going through. And this is why, for their sake and for your safety, so that you can survive these things, you may need to just walk away. I'd rather be called a cultural deadbeat, because black culture is toxic, right? It really has no, they don't produce sustainable families. They don't teach boys how to be an instrumental part of family. They don't teach boys about parenting skills, right? So when black boys are not cultivated for parenting, black culture can't tell me anything, because to me, black culture has no value in the space of parenting. Black culture is very toxic and very counterproductive to your growth. I'm not talking about black history. Oh my God, I love Mary McLeod Bethune. I love black educators, but modern black culture is so toxic for your growth. You don't have to agree, that's fine, but this is Instructor Mike, and you've been trained. Sign off in the comments. What are your thoughts?